Hello and welcome to goalnews.org, video edition, July 29th, 2011. My name is Jim Wallace, Executive Director of Gun Owners Action League. Let's get right to the news. The first thing up is House 2400. That was our youth FID card bill. Good news is we did take care of the fee issue on that situation in the budgetary deliberations here in the past month or so at the House. We did not get it all the way down to a free FID card for anybody under 18 years old, but we did get it reduced from $100 to $25, so a 75% reduction in that fee, and hopefully that will allow our youngsters to get into the field a little bit more affordably. The age application part of it is still in House 2400, which sits in the House Committee on Ways and Means, and we will try to proceed with that part of the bill when the legislature comes back in from their summer recess, which basically will be the month of August. So hopefully we're looking at September to get the application age of that taken care of. But again, the fee situation was already signed into law when the budget was signed. So if you have a youngster under the age of 18 who's trying to get their FID card, it is $25 as we speak. The other part that came out in the budget too isn't a shooting issue, but it's certainly an outdoors issue, is that Senator Brewer did get free fishing licenses for anybody under the age of 18 in the budget as well. And that is in law now. I assume the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife may have to pass a regulation just to make that work, but it should be in effect now. So Senator Brewer has done a lot of work for us in the budgetary process to help our youngsters get back into the field. Unfortunately, the EOPS Firearms Record Bureau advisory letter that came out in May, and many of our members already are aware of this, from the alerts and newsletters that we've put out about it. In May, there was an unsigned, undated, so-called advisory letter that went out to all of the firearms retailers in the state of Massachusetts, as well as a lot of the law enforcement agencies. This so-called advisory letter has caused an awful lot of legal problems in the state because virtually everything in the letter was factually incorrect. We have friends in the State House that have been trying to work with the Executive Office of Public Safety to straighten this out. But one word of caution that I want to give to our men and women in law enforcement is part of this letter dealt with the issue of the exemptions that are in the so-called assault weapons laws for law enforcement use. And since 1998, for over a decade, law enforcement has been under the understanding that they can buy these particular firearms and magazines perfectly fine as long as they're in law enforcement and to some extent if they had a letter from their chief stating they were going to use it for the job. But still, many of them were personally owned. The problem with the advisory letter is it's telling these law enforcement officers now that they cannot own these personally. They can only use them on the job. There are some severe legal problems here because violation of this particular section of law, Chapter 140, Section 131, capital M, carries with it a potential 10-year prison sentence. So this is very serious. The other problem I want to caution on law enforcement who may own these items is that we are hearing that chiefs are now mandating that law enforcement sell any of these guns and magazines that they may have in their possession. There are two problems here. First, can a chief of police order a citizen to sell private property, which we believe they cannot? But the second problem is, if indeed EOPS pushes their agenda and makes these things illegal for personal possession for law enforcement, if you are ordered to sell them, you may be participating in an unlawful firearms transfer. So we caution law enforcement officers who are caught in this position to make sure you seek counsel before you do anything with these firearms to make sure you're not breaking even more laws. Further on that, because of the problems with EOPS in this so-called advisory letter, and because it's been 2 months now and we haven't gotten any answers from the agency as to how they're going to correct the problems that they have created with this, Gun Owners Action League, through Representative George Peterson, is actually going to file a piece of legislation next week to just outright repeal the so-called assault weapons law and the definitions that go along with this. There is simply no reason why we cannot purchase, like the rest of the country can purchase and possess, guns that are in common use across the country. So we will be working to just outright repeal the law, especially since the state enforcement agency simply can't handle the responsibility to enforce the law and correctly interpret it. The new FA-10 forms that we talked to you about over a month ago, again, the new online system, We urge people to be very cautious about using the system because we were warned through all of the browsers that we use that it was an unsecure system, and we still believe it's actually an illegal website. So be very careful about utilizing this, and we urge everybody for now to stick with the paper use. If you'd like to help gun owners actually continue its fight against all of these things that we're working on, you can go to goal.org, and we're having a fundraiser. For every $25 you donate this summer, you'll get entered into a free drawing, and the winner will take home a ticket to the Matt Light Celebrity Shootout event, which will be in September, and you'll also win an over and under Beretta shotgun to go with you to that new shoot. Also, don't forget the 2011 annual Crushing Clays Junior Trap Championship will be taking part in September. If you'd like to enter a youngster into that competition, it's always a great time and a great fun up at the North Leominster Rod and Gun Club. Please go to goalevents.org and get more information about how to enter your young woman or young man into that competition. And as always, we started last year. The Shoot BQ was a great time, and we're going to have it again in this year, September 25th at the Harvard Sportsman's Club. And if you'd like more information on that event, please go to goalevents.org. And that does it for goalnews.org Video Edition, July 29th, 2011. Thanks for watching.